Yes, the axe, which dates to 1899, and it is the trophy that the students cherish so much. That's the stare down we referenced. We'll see that at the end of the game today. The axe begins the day in the possession of Stanford. Where will it be in 3 hours? Cal won the toss and deferred, so Cal will kick here, left to right, to get things going at Stanford Stadium. Into the field of play to Nathaniel Pete. Crease. Special teams, you just saw it in the open. Special teams really determined last year's big game. Good kick return today.
And a big part that may determine today's is Cal's get a lot of players back. They've gone through a lot in their program. Key for them defensively, Muelu Iosefa at linebacker. Luke Beckett, he's back. He's played in over 60 games in his college career, Ted. These guys need to get after Tanner McKee and slow down this passing attack that's got some added weapons today.
Well, both big game starting quarterbacks should be a little fresh. They haven't played in 3 weeks. Yeah. McKee has missed the last 2 games with injury. Austin Jones is alongside. Farrell motions. They come back to the place that Farrell vacated, swinging it out to Jones. Jones gets a good first down gain before he's run out by Nate Ricina. Tanner McKee, he has a very high completion percentage this year, Yod, just about 65%, and a low interception number.
Yeah, and you referenced being out for a while. Being out might be one of the better things in his young career, being able to self-scout, self-evaluate, and he's come back so fresh with the dialed-in focus.
Off some play action, taking the deep shot to Farrell on the post, underthrown and picked. Cal with the pick. Lumagia Hearns, freshman from De La Salle High School, the powerhouse in the East Bay, and Hearns with the pick.
Well, I like the play, Ted. Deep play action, and he's got to get it out now. He waits just a hair, and the ball, as you reference, underthrown. Hearns climbs, easy pick for him. And how about this guy? Freshman from up here in Northern California, first time playing in this big game. Oh, he got the better of Tanner McKee in his first big game start on that play.
Well, it's only the 6th pick, so just as you say, McKee's been pretty careful with the ball. Here it comes. And that Cal secondary has been pretty good this year at ball hawking. And Hearns comes up with his first college pick. Right, Pittsburgh out towards the Delta. So here we come now with Chase Garbers on the field where he etched himself forever in Cal football history 2 years ago. Damian Moore opens up as the single back. And can Cal do this? And can Stanford stop it? Stanford strips it. Look at this. 3 plays, 2 turnovers.
This. They get a nice job, nice pulling guard, impressive run. And then watch as it gets just dragged out. I think that's Dalen Wade Perry, Ted. He just got one hand and another hand just rips the ball.
And we talk so much about the punch. That was just a straight rip.
Yeah, that's just a heavy body on Moore, just pulling it down. And then it starts bouncing all over. I don't know if it was Kaiu Blue Kelly. There's a lot of Stanford jerseys around that ball.
Well, Justin Wilcox, you can see the frustration because that's been something, despite Cal's record, they've excelled in turnovers. But they get one and give it right back, and they give it back on their side of the field. Austin Jones bottled up on the first down run.
You know, you felt Stanford come out aggressive, and they wanted to do that, talking to their staff and players yesterday offensively. Instant turnover on that deep post route. They get it back on the fringe red zone here.
And right away, a run gets bottled up, and that has been something Stanford has not done well this year. Shockingly, off the play action, quick flip to Elijah Higgins, and that'll be a first down at the Cal 20. But here's the, I'm going to channel my inner Chip Kelly here. Here is a true and not useless stat.
Yes.
This is stunning because 99.9% of teams in America with a plus turnover margin would have a winning record. Not Cal. It's hard to believe.
So many tight ball games for Justin Wilcox. You can go all the way back to the beginning of the season in week 1. game against Nevada, up to some of the more recent games that have been tight.
And it's been the very thing Stanford has been hurt by. You saw that, their minus number, and their coaches talked with us yesterday about the classic ball safety. Benjamin Urasek gets the catch and takes the ball down just shy. It's going to be at the 12-yard line. And here now, Yogi, is the other phenomenal thing about Stanford. They have been a team that they're last in the league in running. They can't run the ball this year. Only team in the conference that has more red zone pass touchdowns.
And uncommon for a David Shaw team known so well to own the line of scrimmage.
But look at this, the heavy package, no wideouts. Going to try to run with the big body, and that's going to be just enough to get them first and goal. And that is E.J. Smith, who's back from injury. And as they said, David Shaw and his staff were telling us, trying to get E.J. Smith a little more running back time.
Yeah, this is a guy for David Shaw who's got a lot of big play ability. He's lined up a wide receiver this season, but you're right. I think we'll see a dose of him today. And for them on the offensive front, Branson Bragg, he's out of this ball game. Jake Hornibrook playing that right guard position.
And here you go. Watch at the bottom is John Humphreys. At the top is Urasek. Do they do the jump ball? No, they run. Austin Jones, loss on the play. That was Josh Drayden out of the secondary that broke it up, and he never let Austin Jones get to the edge.
Yeah, Cam Good does a nice job against Tucker Fisk. Drayden makes a play in the backfield. This Cal defense, we saw it against Oregon State about a month ago. Against the run, they do not give up a lot of 10-yard runs, a lot of rallying in the football. But to your point, Ted, on the jump ball, I'd anticipate seeing some of that with these big receivers they have back.
So now it is Jason Raines, a freshman. He's 6'4", coming down to the bottom. It's the only wideout. You have Houston Haimuli, a fullback, sliding. And he's looking at Raines, the freshman, and just throws it away. And there was also a flag there. You could see the underneath receiver is Urasek. Up, going to call an eligible receiver. Is that an RPO play, Yogi?
Well, they're trying to get the throwback to the tight end, and Daniel Scott was all over it.
So that's what the call is.
Receiver downfield, offense number 75. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is an incomplete pass and third down.
So the left tackle Walter Rouse leaking out. You don't normally see that in the red zone. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, it tried to get the throwback, and he just drifted downfield a little too much.
So, red zone challenge. Field goals make it harder to win. And it's third and goal now for Stanford at the 11.
They love Humphreys at the bottom of the screen. Remember, the big touchdown against Oregon was him.
And E.J. Smith is in the slot, the hash mark to the top. Quick throw to Humphreys. And that's going to give David Shaw perhaps a decision. That may have been a play to get the ball down inside the 5. And now what do you do, Yogi, on fourth down? I think it's pretty clear he's going for it.
Yeah, I love that. You know, to the point of these teams, neither one of them have the record that they hoped for or anticipated coming into the season. But they want to take risks. It's the big game. The crowd's into it. The student sex is juiced.
The Stanford students have shown up again. Good, really credit to them. But that was clearly a play that David Shaw predetermined. We're going for it. Yeah. It's 4 downs.
4 down, 2 downs to make it. Keep an eye on Mike Wilson, the bottom of the screen.
Silas Starr goes wide up to the very top. Will they go an entire red zone series without a jump ball? Yes, they will. And McKee, they try to push, and Cal stops. So the Cal defense holds.
Well, the 124th game. You wanted some drama in the end? How about some drama in the beginning? Cal Bears, 4th and goal, rise up, 0-0. Well, welcome back to Stanford for the 124th big game. And for Stanford, some key players. And we saw Elijah Higgins and E.J. Smith on that drive. But defensively, Ricky Miezon, Caillou Blue-Kelly, Jonathan McGill, they welcome them back. And, of course, out for them, Ari Patu, Branson Bragg on the offensive front, as you know, and Stephen Herron, a late scratch. They thought he'd have an opportunity to play in this game as one of those edge rushers in this new 4-down defensive scheme.
Well, let's see if Cal can punch the ball out now from their own 1.5 yard line. Christopher Brooks, the running back. And a little play action throw gets them out of trouble. Nicely done by Cal to Gavin Reinwald. And that puts the ball out to the 14.
You know, I can remember doing their spring game. They ran that exact play on one of the final drives. And this is where Chase Garbers has really elevated in this offense. It's a pro-style West Coast scheme. That's an old-school play-action pass. But he goes to his left. Not easy. Gets his eyes up. Pitch and catch. Gets out from their deep end zone.
Well, that gives Cal the breathing room they needed. From their own 14, it's first down. Kick Colin Crawford motions. And Garbers keeps. And Stanford bit, so Garbers had the edge. And he runs 2 plays, 2 first downs.
Well, this is where this guy's got mastery, right? 4th time playing in this game. And the zone read is going to be everything for Stanford. Can they stop it? They crash down easy on the back. And look, if it's going to be that easy of a read for Chase Garbers, Ted, he's going to have another big game in the big game.
So yesterday, talking to the Stanford coaches, they all asked that question. Biggest thing, take the legs away from the quarterback. They know how much Chase Garbers has hurt teams doing that very thing. They saw it here 2 years ago. All right, so Cal now can operate a little more normally. We'll stop there to Crawford, who makes the catch. He's piled upon by Ethan Bonner. That's a good first down play. It's 9 yards.
That's a nice job of just climbing up. Watch Crawford snap the route off against Ethan Bonner and then climb the ladder to make the grab. And look, this is a receiving core that his offense has been criticized at times this season. Sometimes they ball, sometimes they don't. This receiving core makes an early play.
That's got some experience to it. And Garber's going to lock that ball up there. Crawford, though, had drifted into the sideline. But between Crawford and Trayvon Clark and Nico Remigio, who's had a couple of huge big games, that's an experienced receiving core with an experienced quarterback.
Yeah, look, if they can protect Chase Garbers in this game and give him a clean pocket, he'll have the ability to deal. And what Stanford feels good about is they got healthy bodies back in the secondary. So we'll watch as the game goes on how many players they rotate if Stanford throws at the best one, which is Caillou Blue Kelly at the bottom of the screen.
So on 3rd down and 1 from the gun, and they run, and Brooks broke the tackle. Well, he was banged by Jordan Fox behind the line, but Brooks ran through the tackle and gets the Cal first.
How about this jump cut, right? Playing in space. This is a drill you do every day in practice. One cut there, jumps back, keeps his legs moving. And look, Brooks, he's one of the better heavy backs in this league. He's just struggled to stay healthy his entire career.
Now Cal goes out of an empty formation, tossing one for Brooks down the sideline. He just can't complete the catch. The ground brings it up.
A double move by everybody. Who would have thought they would have thrown to Brooks against Miezon? And I thought he had it right as he fell. Just as you referenced, that combination of him hitting the ground and not having a clean catch results in an incomplete.
Stanford just taking off the field a guy that's playing for the first time this year, a veteran Jonathan McGill. He's just been out there for a couple of snaps as a 5th defensive back. All right, off. Now back to 2nd and 10, the 4 down for Stanford. And now there goes Garbers again. Tucker Fisk chasing. And Garbers does a terrific job. Man, going all the way as far as he could to his left, but then being able to get the ball forward to Crawford.
Are you kidding me? Ted, everything breaks down. It's double moves again. He's going to his left. I mean, dude's got a little inner sidearm right there. Hey, A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers, you watching this one, bro? It looked a little bit like him.
That's the second baseman turning the double play arm angle. It was very nice. 19 yards and a first at the Stanford 38. Second snap on this possession. Cal goes empty. Pressure off the edge. Garbers breaks away. And boy, does that hurt Stanford. One of the big things that Stanford has talked to us about, and you've heard it all year, missed tackles, and a couple of them. Here's a huge play. They've got Garbers for a loss. Instead, he runs it for 25.
Yeah, a week ago, Stanford, the most missed tackles all season long. That's Noah Williams. And when you're blitzing a quarterback, you want to take a high angle. He comes a little flat, and Chase Garbers, look, as you reference, he's done this for a long time. Another missed tackle. Last 2 games, this defense has struggled in that department.
Well, Stanford, it has been an atypical Stanford season. They have not run the ball well. They have not stopped the run well. Those are things that in the David Shaw era they excel at. Remigio gets the quick throw. Nice grab and tackle there by McGill, safety. Well, here's where we go back to what we were talking about when Stanford was in the red zone. Cal has proven they can run the ball down here.
Yeah. And I think a huge thing for them is their right guard. They bring back number 72, McCade Matalier. Didn't really practice all week with the team. Finally cleared.
Brooks into the middle, drives forward. That's going to be close to a first down. And now a late flag comes in. And the Stanford, you see Stanford defenders pointing at Cal. If that's on Cal, that's a painful penalty because that was looked to be a first down run for Brooks. And is it live ball or dead ball? And it looks like the spot of the ball. He is short of the first down. Right here, Steve Strickland.
The result of the play, runner was short for 3rd down. After the play on sportsmanlike conduct, offense number 4. That's a 15-yard penalty. It will be 3rd down. This is number 4's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Well, Remigio, and you can see that Justin Wilcox doesn't take much to read his mind there. I think Remigio's been so good the last 2 big games. This is a destructive penalty.
Yeah, and he's such a vet. You'll see it right there, number 4. It's the late hand with the left hand right there late. And look, that's tough with the receiver when you're pushing. And look, we know how competitive and emotional this one is, but you're right. Nico's played in so many of these games.
Well, the other big thing was that if that had been a first down run, then Cal would not be out. But now they're 3rd down and 16.
Man to man.
To the end zone. That's going to be picked by McGill, and he can run. Ooh, almost a blindside block there. Not sure that. Wow, that was close to a blindside block, but it is an interception. And look at the Stanford team. Jonathan McGill, a brilliant spring, has playing for the first time this year in big game.
It's now 62 on the board for the Bruins, most they've ever scored against USC. 10, Yogi?
Wow. I'm going to be interested to read the LA Times tomorrow morning.
We talked about it all week, right?
Scott Barkey, our director, is going to give me his copy.
Yeah, seriously, got to stop the run, and clearly struggled there.
All right, so we've got 4 possessions in the game, 3 turnovers, and a 4th down stop. That's it. And this is, to me, I think, Yogi, I'm on the Stanford side, I have to think I can run the ball. Cal has not stopped the run very well this year. And if you're ever going to break loose, if you're Stanford and run it with some success, you would think this is the day.
Yeah, I would spread them out, right? Your receivers this week, you're finally back at relatively full strength. And see if you can find yourself some creases.
That was Nathaniel Pete on the first down carry. He got 7. Off the play action, McKee throws a dart. Michael Wilson on the catch. 39-yard line and a first down.
This is great, Ted. Little RPO action, right? Everybody thinks Stanford's just pro style. When you watch them, that's not who they've been the last couple of years. And we got Michael Wilson back. First time he and Tanner McKee are starting together. This duo is one we'll be tracking all game.
Yeah, and that's another, as Remigio is for Cal, Wilson has been for Stanford. He has had 2 really productive big games. So first down at the Stanford 39. Austin Jones on the stretch, and that's a good first down run. That's those Stanford would hope are good omens. 8 yards.
Yeah, you said a great word, stretch, right? And when they run that outside zone and they can get their offensive line running and get the defensive line running, there's these big seams that stretch and stretch and stretch open. And right now, Stanford's moving it with their offensive front and run game.
All right, here's Isaiah Sanders now in to take his first snap. Nathaniel Pete alongside. And it's Pete. And he ran through that leg tackle. Cameron Good had him, but Pete ran through that tackle and gets a first down across midfield.
How about these quarterbacks, right? Isaiah Sanders, he was throwing the ball a week ago. They played so many guys, right? 4 different starters throughout this season, and now Tanner McKee finally back for this group. And they said when he came back to practice, it's like everything elevated on the practice field.
E.J. Smith flexes down. He's on the bottom hash. Play action, and McKee comes to Smith out near the sideline. Trying to reverse his field, not going to get anywhere. Mo Iosefa eventually runs him down. And I'll tell you, Yogi, what you just said about McKee, what we heard yesterday from the Stanford people, that's about as great a compliment as you could pay someone who's in a leadership position.
Yeah, David Shaw, he used a word he doesn't use often, and it was phenomenal. And when he describes his quarterback with that phrase, whether it's been Andrew Luck or Davis Mills or KJ Costello over the years, you know when he's really confident in the game plan. And I think for Tanner sitting out and coming back, he's put himself in a good position in the system.
Play action, he eats the ball and then throws it away. Wilson was out in the area. Well, it's going to be third down.
You know, right now, you know, throughout the first quarter here, a lot of in-breaking routes from Stanford Tech. I want to see him work out-breaking routes. I want to see stuff outside the hash, outside the numbers. Cal does a nice job schematically of funneling routes. And there's nothing there on that pass play, Tanner McKee, which is why he ate it. And there hasn't been a lot there, even on the RPOs inside.
All right, well, here's the Cal side, and there's an awful good Cal representation here. Their fans roaring. 3rd and 11. And McKee throws the dart, and that's caught for the first down. Elijah Higgins at the 35-yard line. Isaiah Young on the cover. The good long throw here.
And how about the awareness of the sticks by Higgins? You teach a receiver, get about 3 yards past the sticks in man-to-man coverage, so when you snap it off, you got time to attack the ball and still have a first down. Higgins is a guy we found out earlier today was going to go. When he's on the field, even if it's limited reps, Ted, he's got an impact.
Yeah, 38th catch this year for Higgins. So now Stanford with a first down. Austin Jones, the running back. McKee looking. This is Jurasik down the sideline. He hauls it in. Benjamin Jurasik, sophomore tight end from Bakersfield. Terrific catch at the 8-yard line.
Well, it's man-to-man, him and Elijah Hicks, one of the more talented players. And this is simply, I'm 6'5", and Elijah Hicks is 5'11", and he high points the ball right at you right there, kind of one-handed. And that's a nice job from Jurasik making a play, and McKee throwing it up in man-to-man coverage.
27 yards. And now it is Stanford with its second 1st and goal of the first quarter. And they run it. Jones. He gets it inside the 5.
I like how they've worked outside the numbers. A couple big pass plays on this drive. The 3rd down conversion, the previous play on the wheel route. And now you got Cal wondering. I wonder here, if I'm Stanford, if I go back to the jump ball. Probably not, as they're back into the Wildcat formation personnel grouping.
So Sanders returns as the Wildcat quarterback. Grad transfer, played at the Air Force Academy. This has been his role this year. Wilson is the receiver to the bottom. And it's Jones running it, and Jones got hit. First man to hit him was Uchina, the freshman. And that slowed the play up, so Stanford 2 runs will now face 3rd and goal.
And you wonder for David Shaw, is it 4-down territory again as we enter the end of the first here?
Yeah. And guess what? We just have had 7 goal-to-go plays in this quarter for Stanford, 0 jump balls.
Yeah.
That won't last. With the incredible players that have played in both of these schools' football histories, still astounds me. Jim Plunkett there to Randy Vitaha. Great combination. The only Heisman Trophy winner to ever play in big game. Jim was honored the 50th anniversary of his Heisman Trophy earlier this year by Stanford. Still lives right here in the area. Has been an amazing supporter of Stanford athletics, housing Stanford athletes through the years. Just a fabulous, fabulous guy, Jim Plunkett. And between in more recent times, Andrew Luck and Christian McCaffrey and Aaron Rodgers and Marshawn Lynch and Deshaun Jackson, and we can go back in history. I mean, amazing with the great players. Plunkett's the only Heisman Trophy.
Yeah. That's wild.
So here we go, 3rd and goal for Stanford as we start the second quarter. John Humphrey's top, Wilson motions. McKee gonna keep it, not gonna get there. And now David Shaw's decision, will he go on 4th down for a second time? Cameron Good is the lead defender there to stop McKee. And it is the appearance of going.
There we go.
Well, it's
bring O-lineman, bring in Levi Rogers, Jumbo.
It's big game.
Yeah.
It's the first time in 21 years this game is being held with both teams under 500. So it has a why not element to it. Let's go for it. Jurasek to the bottom, Humphrey's top. There's your first ball, and it goes through Jurasek's hands. That's the Stanford staple of red zone offense. But Cal comes up with its second deep red zone 4th down stop.
6'5", Jurasek, 5'10", Hearns, and Cal continues to play these fade balls better than anybody against the Cardinal. Teddy's making it really hard on the quarterback to have a read on where to put that ball.
Now Stanford gave Justin Wilcox great compliment when we were talking about how they defended that staple of the Stanford offense. There's Brooks on 1st down, and he's going to break past the original set of tacklers and push that ball out and gain 6. But just to quickly button that up, you know, that's been a staple. Stanford's run it for years successfully. They said Cal's been the best defender against that play.
Yeah, and that year, in that game for Justin Wilcox, it was the first time we've seen it look like that. And they changed it up. Sometimes they would try to box out the wide receiver like they were playing basketball. Sometimes they would try to face guard. Sometimes they'd be right in the middle and keep the eyes on the quarterback to evaluate the throw. Justin Wilcox, as good of a defensive mind, in my eyes, as there is in the country.
And the other thing you saw there was McKee threw the ball quickly, which also Stanford said maybe one way to go against the way Cal defends that play. Brooks, he's going to be right at the 15. This will be a spot to decide if he reached the 1st down.
And it's been fun. I love that Coach Shaw's gone for it down the red zone. There's been so many moments in this game that could have swung it, and both teams have risen up and met them.
So you can see the spot is just short. They need another foot or so to get a 1st down. Brooks continues, single back. Whole bunch of tight ends off to the right in the formation. And Brooks just, boy, you saw how he wrapped that ball. How about, you want to preach ball security? Watch the way Brooks carries this. And gets the Cal 1st down.
Jonathan McGill's going to meet him in the hole, but you're right. There's Brooks, 34. McGill beats the block and just tries to keep the legs moving. Thomas Booker's there for a little support, but he gets enough and then just hangs on. Now, I'd imagine both staffs have looked their offensive players very squarely in the eyes and said, ball security.
Yeah. So at the 16-yard line, second time Cal has stopped Stanford in the deep red zone and now been able to move the ball out to get at least one first down. And Garbers has a second, and Garbers may have 6. He is gone. Trayvon Clark. 84 yards for the Cal touchdown.
It's a nice job by Clark, man-to-man against McGill, and it's just one-on-one, and he beats him not only on the slant, but as he catches it, accelerates through the route. An easy read from Garbers. Explosive play in the big game for the Cal Bears.
That has been a part of Cal's offense this year. That wasn't a deep throw. It winds up being a deep play, but they've had a high number of big pass plays. And so this scoreless tie with turnovers and fourth down stops is finally broken by the big play.
Chase Garbers, Trayvon Clark, an easy read, a little fake, the throwing lane's there, it's man-to-man, and Clark rises up as a senior in the big game. Cal's up 7-0.
Oregon and Utah are underway. We'll be updating you as best we can on that most important regular season game of this conference season, and they may meet again in the biggest one in a couple of weeks in Vegas. There's another shocker. Longest pass play, not just for Garbers, longest in the history of big game. 124 games. That's the longest, 84 yards. Believe it or not, we've had runs longer than that. We may show you one later. There's Nathaniel Pete. And good solo one-on-one tackle by Cal there to keep that from getting further. Here's a look now at the Allegiant Airlines. Together we fly.
All right, check this out. Give a big assist to the running back. He's going to open up Gabe Reed from Stanford. He's going to flow with them. Then as the play begins, you'll see this lane right here for Chase Garbers. It's easy. That's a nice job of complementary football for the Cal Bears. The running back doesn't run a swing route. It's not as clean of a look. It's cover zero, meaning there's no deep safety, man-to-man across the board. Chase Garbers knows he's got a chance for a big play.
Right. So that was the point. That's why you didn't see a deep safety.
Yep.
So that significant play gets Cal the lead. Now Stanford back to work, and Stanford has moved the ball. They have just not finished in the red zone. And Nathaniel Pete gets clocked, and you see the Cal sideline respond to that play by Mo Iosefa, sophomore from Hawaii.
Huge that he's playing in this game. Femi Oladejo not going to go tonight for the Cal Bears. Those two have been the two inside backers that have rotated in the last couple weeks. Huge today to hear that Iosefa was going.
So 1 yard on the play, 2nd and 9 for Stanford. Wilson comes down to the bottom. Bryce Farrell's in the right slot. 5 receivers now. And McKee takes a shot down the far sideline, broken up. John Humphreys intended, and there's Hearns again on the cover.
Dude, he's balling. I mean, Hearns is balling. If I was scouting Cal, I'd say, you know what? The big receivers we have, like John Humphreys, who stands at 6'5", let's go after these smaller corners. And how about not just the physicality, but the willingness to time that? That's perfect for Hearns. That's absolutely perfect. His 3rd big play in this game.
And again, he's 5'10", Hearns, and that's a 6'5" receiver. So, strong defense for the Bears. They're 3rd and 9 for Stanford. McKee pressured. And from behind gets, as he was being hit by Good, he got rid of the ball. Jones could not hang on. And Stanford will have first 3 and out of the game.
Watch Cam Good, top of your screen. It's a little up and under move. And he's so athletic. So athletic. He missed a game a couple weeks ago. Came back last week, and we saw him on the field in pregame. And he said, yeah, remember that game I had in the big game a couple years ago? I'm about to have an even bigger one. Nice play there on 3rd down.
So remember the Cal big picture for a fair number of players. They haven't played in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
20-plus guys didn't make the trip to Arizona 2 weeks ago. Game last week was postponed. Fair catch on the punt by Remigio. That's good punt. 51 yards by Stanford's Ryan Sanborn. Nicely done. There it is again. The week when the water runs red. Cardinal red. Another big game memory. This is 30 years ago. Quarterback Steve Stenstrom, wide receiver, young David Shaw. How's he look, Yogi?
It was perfect.
Judge him, come on.
2 feet in, great comeback, caught it with his hands. I love the hip pads out of the pants. We showed it to him this week, and he got a good chuckle out of it. You know, critiqued the route a little bit, but true coach.
Of course, on the sideline today, as well as David's dad, Willie Shaw, longtime assistant coach here in the NFL. Garber's on the roll to his left. Second time he's done that to complete a pass. Keikoa Crawford with the catch, and that's a first down for Cal. David Shaw is such, I mean, of course, that's an incredible thing. His 9-1 big game record. And you talk about inclusion. You know who the honorary captain is today for Stanford for the big game? Maya Dorado, 2-time Olympic gold medalist swimmer. How many times do you think major college football teams have had women as the honorary captains? It's happened multiple times with David Shaw here. And that's a great statement about Stanford, of course, but about David.
Yeah, he's incredible. And I know the season hasn't gone as they wanted it, but this is a guy who's turned this program dramatically around, kept it going when he became the head coach. And we always say he's the conscience. What I love is as he avoids Gabe Reed, he's calm. His eyes are calm, right? If we go back to Chase Garber's earlier in his career, he'd avoid it, and his eyes might be big in this game. Whether he's rolling to his left or climbing the pocket or seeing pressure, he's in command right now.
We saw Cal a few weeks ago, Berkeley, the last game Garber's played. We saw against Oregon State, and the Cal people told us that may be the best game he's played. Maybe the best game he's played since he's been at Cal. Trying to get this short yardage play here, and the rugby push looks, well, I can't tell, but it does look like it's a first, and the officials do say so on the field. But that's something, because Garber's on this field 2 years ago was pretty good. Yet Justin Wilcox, that may have been his 2 or 3 weeks ago rather, may have been his best game.
Yeah, and I think if you look at a guy's growth, Chase Garbers has really grown as a passer as well as anybody we've covered in the last 5-6 years. You look at the deep ball, actually they really struggled this year. They're thriving down the field. It's all in his work in the offseason.
Marcel Dancy, the running back, that play gets stopped. And as you pointed out, he is the it factor.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's interesting, and you did a great job. You dive into the backgrounds of some of these people, and you find the linkage. So Bill Musgrave, former Oregon Duck, longtime NFL offensive coordinator, was an NFL quarterback. He's the OC at Cal. Bill Musgrave played for the 49ers in the Bill Walsh year when Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. Who did Chase Garbers, through family friends, go spend a summer with when he was in high school?
Mike Shanahan, yep.
So now Bill Musgrave comes in. Chase Garbers is comfortable with the offense, right?
He can excel above the shoulders in this system.
Oh, nice defense there. That play, McGill saw that coming, and Jonathan McGill is going to want to rise up after the touchdown that went against him.
He hasn't played in a while, right? And he and Nico Remigio, they have had battles. You go back and watch the tape of the last couple games in this storied rivalry, and it's 2. He used to be 32, but it's 2 and 4. These two guys battle on so many big moments. And that's the fun part of this game, those two guys in the slot.
All right, so 2nd and 15 now. Cal was trying to get some of that, if not all that, penalty yardage back. Now on 2nd down, Garbers will get some with his legs. Does he get outside? Yes, he does, and he'll run out of bounds, but he gets about half of what he needs. Tristan Sinclair, junior linebacker, chased him out. So now Cal, they do this. They like many teams in today's football, they don't huddle, but they don't go fast either.
No. What they try to do when you do this is you try to make the defense declare. Where are you going to set your front? What's the coverage going to be? And then now, they can't necessarily move a ton.
So Cal needs about almost 8. And Garber's throwing for it, and he has it. Boy, he had all the time in the world, and eventually Clark gets himself free right in front of the Cal bench.
Well, it's a touch throw from Chase Garbers, and it's pretty impressive as they get up to the line of scrimmage as well. And it's a spy on him, right? So there's not a rusher. Gabe Reed, number 9, he's just watching to make sure that Garbers doesn't beat him with his legs, but that means nobody else is pressuring him. So he just sits back there and cooks.
17 yards to Clark.
And that's the part on third down, right? You're going to get burned with his legs. Do you want to blitz him? You got to spy him. That means you lose a defender.
Garbers for Crawford, overthrown.
And neither one of these teams are high pressure teams. And neither one historically brings a lot of blitzes. I wonder tonight if they're going to try to bring something here.
Because what you said, both teams know that about each other, right? So who's going to break tendency?
Yeah.
Or does either team break tendency?
I would bring a couple here, you know, especially if the ball in the hash, maybe bring a corner pressure, but try to force Chase Garbers' hand a little bit.
2nd and 10, Brooks is the deep back.
There it comes.
That was Thomas Booker. Was he drawn?
And they were bringing heat there.
Offside defense number 4 with contact. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, when a team, I think, Ted, kind of lines up the way Cal has the majority of this drive, which is line up with line of scrimmage, defensively, you could lose a little bit of a flow, right? Because now you got to be stagnant and then go play. Stagnant, go play. And there's not much rhythm to that defensively. This is what Cal does. They feel great operating like this.
Here's Cal again with a slew of 2 tight ends on the left side of the line. And that's where Brooks is trying to run, but that got broken up. Jumping into the backfield there was Ricky Miezon. So they showed a strong side to the formation. Yogi and Stanford knew that's where they're going to try to run.
Yeah, and I like now, you see Stanford rotating different defensive linemen in on that last one. It was a freshman, Wilfredo Abar. Now they bring back in Gabe Reed. Try to play the situation here on third down.
So it's 3rd and 5 for Cal. Yeah, this would be a significant help to Stanford to get a stop here. Garbers looking. Garbers. And that is inside the 5. Monroe Young. 1st and goal at the 1. Another touch throw.
A double move again, out and up. Young beats Williamson. What a catch climbing back as Cal gets to the line of scrimmage.
Longest play for Monroe Young at Cal, 30 yards, 1st and goal. Now Garbers is going to have to throw it, and he does to Brooks for the Cal touchdown.
This is a nice job of Chase Garbers, Ted. Watch the fake, and then he's going to put a defender in a bind. Right? Am I going to run? Am I going to throw? I think Jonathan McGill didn't really know which one, so you commit to Garbers, and he throws it right behind his ear hole for a touchdown to Christopher Brooks.
Remember that drive started after an excellent Stanford punt, but Cal goes 80 yards and now has a 14-point first-half lead.
And Chase Garbers right now almost at 200 yards. He's seeing it clean, he's patient, and he's dealing 14-0.
Well, it has been Cal 2 scoring drives and 2 fourth-down stops in their deep red zone. That's your score, 14-0. Could be 14 for Stanford, could be 6 for Stanford had they chosen field goals. Ips. Unfortunately for Stanford, it's 0.
Yeah.
That short kick going to be fielded by an upend. Stanford again is a good drive start. Close to the 40s. We check in our studio with Guy Haber.
Attitude drive right there.
Yeah, that is. That's exactly what that is. Well, it's a terrific. It's not a rivalry game, but it has massive importance, and you know that the atmosphere at Rice Eccles has to be fabulous.
Yeah, they've been lathering up those throats all week long.
Yep. Here it's all about the rivalry. It's about the pride and rooting for your school. And right now the Cal fans are loving it. Here comes Stanford back. Can they get on the board before halftime? First play is a strike to John Humphreys near midfield at a Stanford first down.
I want to see Tanner McKee kind of deal a little bit, Ted. Right? Because the way this game has gone, it's not like either team has struggled moving the ball. Like, it's not like you're saying, Stanford's just struggled, right? So I want to see him continue to work outside, right? It's clogged up in there, and some of their wideouts got to get up and make some plays here.
Running at Austin Jones. There's a decent push by Stanford off the left side, and Jones gets 5 on first down.
David Shaw is masterful at working the clock and situational football. He knows Cal's going to get the ball to kick off the third quarter. I'd imagine on this drive you're hoping that they don't touch it again.
Even more imperative to get some points.
Yeah, exactly.
2 backs in now, Jones and Pete. Off the play action, McKee had to come across several reads and then an incompletion. Pressure there by Ricky Correa off the Cal front.
It looked like he and Michael Wilson were not on the same page. But I like Tanner McKee right there. You see his body language. He's okay, good. It's not working out, no problem. Let's get the next play and let's go. And I think some time to sit has allowed him to evolve as a passer in big games, in a big moment, and a big drive here.
Tough third here, 3rd and 5. But on Cal side of midfield. Now comes to Wilson. That is a first down. So Stanford's drive will continue. Colin Gamble on the cover for Cal.
Some pressure too on Tanner McKee in the pocket, right? It's collapsing a little bit. They're putting some heat on the outside. Cameron Good, interior rushers moving a lot. Mike Wilson runs a little whip route. Starts outside, whips back inside against Gamble, who was a questionable guy coming in today, but obviously out there.
You pointed it out. Cal's a team that pretty much rushes 4.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, they do blitz some, but not as much as others. Bryce Farrell now in the backfield, going to leak out to the right. See if he can use that speed, but no, right out there to upend him is Hearns again. There's your defensive player of the half.
You know, Cal is so sound defensively, right? I mean, the minute Justin Wilcox took that job over, you knew they'd improve. But that's who they are, regardless of wins or losses. They're not giving up a lot of plays, missed tackles, not best in the conference in terms of not allowing 10-yard or longer runs. Nice play after the catch.
Yep. So a gain of 3. Second down run, and the run blitz busts that right up. Daniel Scott, leading tackler on the team, playing run.
Yeah, he'll see the motion from Farrell, and he'll just follow the motion, and it takes him right to the ball. Talked about tendency breakers, right? When can you bring pressure? When can you mix things up? Well, on 3rd down here, I'd expect to see something from Cal trying to heat up Tanner McKee.
And given the spot on the field, would Stanford think this to be 4-down territory?
Yeah, I believe so.
No, probably not now. That's the play that really breaks it up. Cameron Good, first hit, sack of McKee. makes it a long 4th down.
Watch 55. Muelo Iosefa. This is really impressive. He's right there. Watch him just follow his fellow linebacker, Nate Rachina. Rachina takes up Jones. Iosefa does the rest. Cam Good's already got heat coming from the side. That is extremely well schemed on a key 3rd down.
All right, so it'll be a timeout. Cal takes it because they want to score before halftime of big game. This season, for every touchdown scored by a Pac-12 team, Pacific Premier Bank donates $100 to the United Negro College Fund and the National Urban League in support of social justice. Over 43,000 the running total with this week and next, and then one single game for Cal and USC the first weekend of December still to go. All right, here we go. Stanford to punt. The sack pushing them into a long 4th down. Ryan Sanborn, the punter. He drops the nose, hits the end over end. Fair caught back about the 6-yard line by Nico Remigio. As we go down to the field, check in with Ashley.
Yeah, hey there, Ted. Coming up on the Carvana halftime report, I can tell you that Shane Vereen is ready to run through a wall down here. We'll hear what he made of the first half, and the Cal Bears up 14-0. Nick Aliotti joins me as well. And if you haven't seen all the highlights from the Crosstown Classic, well, Dorian Thompson-Robinson will tell you it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Why he was signing autographs at the Coliseum at the end of a historic win for Chip Kelly's UCLA Bruins. Plus, there's another big game going on in Salt Lake City. Not sure if you guys heard about it. We'll catch you up on that one too, Ted.
Wow. Well, it's a big day in Los Angeles. Like I said, I'm going to read the LA Times tomorrow. I think Chip's probably going to be interested to read the LA Times tomorrow.
Yep. Well, I'm telling you, man, that rebuild, they got a chance to get to 8 wins against Cal next week. Culture's set there, Ted.
All right, Garbers comes out to Remigio on 1st down. It's dropped right there. And of course, remember, USC still has 2 games to play. They have BYU next week at the Coliseum, and then the replay of the Cal game in Berkeley.
Kudos to them to making sure that game gets played. They could have easily taken the victory in that one.
That was absolutely really well done.
Yeah, class.
Everybody involved. All right, Cal, because of this field position, may not be too eager to push this. We'll see, knowing they get the ball first in the second half. See the 3 down for Stanford here. Well, Garber's looking, and with only 3 rushes all day, now he's going to run it. And look at that. Well, that is really, if you're on the Stanford side, that's frustrating. You're only rushing 3. You have 8 back, and the quarterback can run like that for a 1st down?
It's such a threat. And now here we go with the sticks moving, the clock stopping. How about the end? I thought he was going to go out of bounds, and he decides, nah, I'm going to put my right foot in the ground and get a little contact. I'd imagine Justin Wilcox held his breath there with that collision with Sinclair.
Yeah.
But now get after it, right?
Second charge timeout.
All right, Cal takes a timeout.
30 seconds
So
in
they
length.
may revise that with 59
Please
seconds.
put 1 minute on the game clock. 1 minute.
All right, well, Justin Wilcox and Bill Musgrave is on the sideline, so maybe his Nextiva team talk. When you need to talk with your team, always use Nextiva.
Well, right now you're saying, hey, we want to save this timeout for a possible field goal opportunity. So let's get the ball out of your hands if you're Chase Garbers. If they continue to drop 8, make a decision quickly, get upfield, get out of bounds. Get out of bounds so we don't have to lose another 10, 20 seconds.
I think it's rare in this day and age. Both coordinators for Cal are on the sideline during the game.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
You'll see one maybe, but that both. Bill Musgrave, again, long time in the sport, and he loves to be on the sideline.
You know what's interesting about him too? I mean, when you talk to the players, they love how he's presented this scheme to them, his skills in the meeting room, and the why behind everything. And they made a shift, right? This is a true pro style system under him, but he's utilizing the legs, the RPO, all the stuff that Chase Garbers has.
By the way, Bill Musgrave remembers, all you Beaver fans, what you sang to him when he ran out on the field with the Ducks back in the day for your rivalry game. That was great. He remembers that song vividly. All right, here's Garbers. Going to swing one to Brooks. And a one-on-one play in the sideline Also helps out Levani Damuni on the tackle for Stanford. Play only chewed a couple of seconds up and only gained a couple of yards. And gained 1 yard. Cal down to 1 timeout. And Garber's lofting one. Jump ball's going to go out of bounds. That's actually caught, remarkably caught by Cal, but out of bounds.
Tommy Christakis. Ball gets thrown a little too wide. He didn't save any sideline, no chance, but about 4 inches away from that being a completion in bounds with his left foot. Every receiver on Go Balls, just keep teaching them, save as much sideline as you can because you're going to naturally drift a little bit.
Well, Stanford has all 3 timeouts, so they may think, all right, if we get a stop here, we'll have one last shot. And Garbers, he takes another deep ball, which goes out of bounds. That one uncatchable. With Keikoa Crawford running the route, so Stanford is going to get the ball back. They'll have somewhere between 35 and 40 seconds and 3 timeouts.
And I bring the heat right now, too. See if you can get a pump block. I mean, whatever. If you hit him, who cares?
Well,
like, doesn't matter. Right now, with where the game is and what the clock is in the second quarter.
But last year, Stanford's win in the big game, they blocked the extra point at the end. They also blocked the field goal. There was a muffed punt by Cal. Special teams hurt Cal badly. David Shaw has said, we have the talent to influence games on special teams. This would be a moment. But nope, not coming. Shorter punt. Now that's going to give Stanford an opportunity here because of the timeouts. 34 seconds, but 3 timeouts. So they, boy, that's a timely short punt for Cal. Just 36 yards, or for Stanford rather, just 36 yards by Cal.
It was a good opportunity for this offense. I mean, remember a nice 2-minute drill they ran? Feels like a couple years ago, but on this very field against the Oregon Ducks, to go win that ball game and sends overtime. I think for Tanner McKee now, again, I keep working. And now you can work outside the hashes or down the field. Elijah Higgins in the slot. All your big body targets on the field.
The 45-yard line, and Stanford's kicker has pretty strong leg. So they don't need a lot to give themselves at least a chance for 3. Higgins on the catch. And that's probably not a good play to make at this time of the half. He's trying to kind of run backwards and gain more yardage. Ends up, boy, that play uses 11 seconds to gain 3 yards. There's Joshua Carty, and again, they tried a 55-yarder with him last week in Corvallis, so he has strong leg. All right, here's our 76 field moment. We're talking about a freshman, Lamajia Hearns from Pittsburgh, California. He's been fueled.
Oh my God, he has played his best game as a Cal Bear. Right, this season didn't even know if he was going to start. He did it in the field. He did it in the red zone on the jump ball against 6'5" Ben Urasic. And then did it again against 6'5" John Humphreys. Look, this is a dude who came from De La Salle, as you referenced, Ted, one of the most premier programs in the history of sport, let alone just in football, trained to operate in big stages.
All right, McKee takes the sideline ball there. That's a first down. That's a good play. Took that right out of Jonathan Smith's playbook, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, keep working to me outside the numbers here. I like the weapons. And when you work in the slot, you want to at least work it down the field a little bit.
Didn't have to use a timeout. John Humphreys on the catch. They probably need 7 yards to 10 to at least have a field goal chance here. And that's what you can do because of the timeouts. You can go to the middle, and Bradley Archer on the catch at the 30.
And Tanner McKee stood in.
Stanford, 30 seconds.
Ruelo Iosefa met him, and he knew he had to take a hit. He did, delivered a dart. I mean, that was on him.
So here's the, take a look.
Right in the face of Iosefa. And how about the throw? I mean, that's the only spot you could put it. Perfect coverage from Elijah Hicks. I'm telling you, my gut tells me I can see Stanford opening this thing up on offense in the second half. Seeing if they can just let 18 deal back there.
Well, that's it. I mean, you know, David Shaw talked to us yesterday. He had a great line. He said he told McKee while he was out to watch tape, he said, you go back and watch the first game you played this year, you won't even recognize yourself.
Yeah.
That's the steps forward he's made. And clearly will be a leading quarterback in this conference, if not country, heading into next year.
All right, so right now it's all about situational awareness.
Some sort of a review going on here. Steve Stribling will tell us, I think. And what was it? Iosefa targeting, as we're told that's what they're going to look at.
Maybe.
Yep. Thank you, Steve.
Well, they bring pressure. Similar pressure they brought on the previous drive.
That's
going to be close.
That's textbook. Yeah. That's 100% targeting. Leading with the crown of the helmet. Doesn't have to be to the head if you lead with the crown of the helmet, correct?
Well, we saw this exact play a couple weeks ago in Corvallis with Devin Lloyd. Exactly right.
Yeah. I mean, as I understand it, and I'm freely admit I'm no expert, but as I understand the rule, that's textbook.
Yeah. And a big part of this rule is not just protecting the offensive players, protecting the defensive player and his neck and his body.
Leading with the crown of the helmet, forcible blow. It does not have to be to the head or neck area.
That's right.
After review, it's been determined that number 55 of the defense committed targeting with the crown of the helmet. That's a 15-yard penalty. By rule, the penalty would have stopped the clock. Stanford has the option to go on the snap. We will not charge Stanford with a timeout.
So Iosefa, because this is the last plays of the first half, he'll miss the rest of this game, but he will be up for Cal's game next week at UCLA.
This is huge, man. He's had one of his better halves of football.
And that penalty also gives Stanford, they can take a couple of cracks at the end zone here. They're at the 15-yard line. You're no longer thinking just field goal. Quick hit to Wilson. They had no help there, so Stanford's going to have to burn its timeout. That's an interesting play.
Yeah. Well, you see off coverage, but there was no chance. And Cal does a nice job of disguising it. But I think right now with 10 seconds left, if I'm David Shaw, I got enough confidence, number 18, take a shot to one of my trees in the end zone.
You have one play in the end zone.
One play. You still have a timeout, right? If God forbid it's, catches it inside.
They just used his last timeout. Am I right? Or does he still have one left? Well, the scoreboard still says one, but we'll go with that for the time being.
So either way, I'm taking a shot right now.
Yeah.
Throw it up, get the ball up and down.
Okay, so that's thank you. As always, Molinari's on top of this. Stanford regained a timeout after the targeting penalty, so they still do have one.
Got Humphreys at the bottom. He's right there, number 5, all 6'5". Jurasic at 6'5", right next to him.
To the end zone it goes, and that's over. Wilson running back there against Isaiah Young. So now it's 5 seconds, and David Shaw, this one I think you have no choice. You have to get points.
Yeah, and you're stealing 3 points, right? Easily, right? Cal was feeling extremely confident offensively. They think they're going to move the ball. They get a first down and then have to obviously punt it. Tough penalty, extends the drive, and this is huge for Stanford to get these 3. We'll see how it plays out in the second half.
So 32-yard kick for Joshua Carty. So Carty bangs that through, and Stanford does get points prior to halftime. A very significant swing in this game where 2 4th-down aggressive goes by Stanford, deep red zone, and 2 stops by Cal.
Yeah, and the explosive plays from the Bears in the passing attack. Didn't know if we saw that amount of big play passes coming into this game from Chase Garbers, but he's delivered.
All right, we'll come back 14-3. Ashley and Shane Vereen and the comedic stylings of Nick Aliotti on the other side. And if you look at that, you say the other one that jumps down, 58 rush yards for Garbers in the first half. Stanford's team 23.
To get a little bit going, but I'd like to see him spread it out when they get the ball back. But the big bottom line for these guys, as Cal's going to get the ball first, is they got to win on first down. Cal is 180 of their 288 yards on offense on first down, Ted. They got to either bring pressure, slow down this offense, because it's too easy on third downs for Chase Garbers and Bill Musgrave in this offense.
Well, the second half will start with Cal getting the ball. The first half ending with that, basically that extra possession for Stanford and a crucial penalty that helped give them, position them for 3 points. We're 30 minutes away from the stare down too.
Yeah.
Students representing both sides will be on the field. The Stanford students will hold the axe, and will it transfer? Will there be a transfer of power?
Oh, I love that part of this game. We've done a few of them together. Look, you know the drama in the last 30 minutes is going to be there.
Well, so many incredible memories, so many great players in this rivalry on this very field, even though the stadium is new. The field is the same field that they played on 100 years ago. There was a Super Bowl played on this field. There's our Ace Hardware game summary.
How about the way this game started? First 3 possessions, fumble, 2 picks, and you're saying, what is happening? It's crazy. David Shaw goes for it on 4th and goal, as you just saw, twice. I mean, you could tell both of these teams are leaving it on the grass, and I can't wait to see the changes here. Does Stanford come out in this new 4-man defensive front and try to heat up Chase Garbers a little bit with some pressure?
Christopher Brooks, running back. Ryan Wald, the tight end. And boy, Brooks ran right past a tackle. Man, if that isn't the kind of play that defines a lot of Stanford's season, I mean, they haven't pinned there for a loss.
You saw the energy, right, coming from the defensive front. Yeah. They all slant to the right. Watch Gabe Reed, he is right there. He had a chance. Linebacker DeMooney had a chance.
Mangum Farrar was right there, yeah.
3 missed tackles.
And Jacob Mangum Farrar, you could see there as he kind of went down, he is one of the players playing with a cast. Stanford has had a high number of injuries this year, and as David Shaw said, more broken bones than you would ever expect. So Brooks with a big run on the first play of the half, and now the second snap pushes the ball to the 45-yard line. 24 yards on his first play. It's going to be another 6. So the word Ruby's heard me use this all the time this year, the identity of Stanford football that has been crafted during the David Shaw era is not there this year, and it's clearly not there tonight. Cal's running the ball on them, and Stanford is not able to run.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage is something that Stanford has owned in the majority of games in David Shaw's tenure. Struggled there this year.
Garbers flings one down the field. That's Mangum Farrar back there covering tight end Jake Tonjes. And the other part to reference for Cal, I mean, their offensive line was really hurt by the COVID outbreak a couple of weeks ago. They patched things together. They have a guy, Valentino Daltoso, 61. He's started games in his career at 4 of the 5 offensive line positions. I've not heard very many people that have done that before.
No, it's him and Nick Ford up at Utah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. They welcome back 3 left guard, center, right guard back for this game, and you could tell how impactful those 3 have been.
So empty for Garbers on 3rd down. Remigio, and he's going to get there after the catch. Just knifed his way between Jonathan McGill and another Stanford defender and gets to the 40.
Just a simple crossing route, and Stanford's trying. They're twisting up front. They're creating movement, trying to create some havoc. But it's an easy read for Garbers against zone coverage. You know, you referenced in the first half how we have coordinators on the sideline for the Cal Bears. Chase Garbers, he's looking over to Bill Musgrave to get the checks.
That's a backwards throw, and the second pass coming, and broken up in the secondary. Oh, he caught it. I'm sorry, he caught it. I thought Caillou Blue Kelly had it, but Trayvon Clark caught it.
Oh, and here comes Cal, up tempo here. They want to get a play off as quickly as possible.
So the lateral throw to Kekoa Crawford, and then the forward pass to Clark. Brooks is hit behind the line. TFL there for Stanford.
This play is awesome, Ted. It's a double pass, and you'll see the receiver, Remigio, he gets a nice block on Williamson. Allows for the time protection, then they just throw it up. It looked like Caillou Blue Kelly had no clue what was happening. You see him? He's just trying to face guard him, make a play, and he's saying, oh man, how did he make that play?
That's great, great hang on by Clark. Awesome. I was going to suggest that was one Crawford was awfully close to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Awfully close. I thought there may be, that's why Cal was hurrying up, because they didn't want that looked at. A lot of attempt there just to deceive with misdirection. All right, so let's see the line. So the 40-yard line's the line of scrimmage. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
See, it looked that way because Remigio, he went all the way back. It was a nice job by him to start the play. He retreated, and then it caught the defense off guard. What's going on there?
Yeah. So that's a good look. So he was well behind the line. And Trayvon Clark has been a big play receiver for Cal. Been the top target on crucial plays for Garbers. Stanford defense needs to stop here on third. Ooh, and they almost had a shot on the deflection. That was Demooney, the cover, Clark, the runner in the middle, and the ball deflects in the air but falls. And so Stanford does get the necessary defensive stop, and Cal will try to tack on three.
Lance Kennelly, nice job getting some pressure on Garbers, forced him to throw it off his back foot, sails on him.
It's Dario Longhetto, Newberry Park, California, 24-yard try. And Longhetto kicks his 9th field goal of the year. He's now 9 for 12. So that tacks 3 onto the lead for Cal. Yeah, that's a big part when you walk around the buildings at Stanford. Try to decipher that. How about this big game history? The 50th big game, 1947. 85,000 fans here at this stadium. The jump pass from Jackie Jensen to Paul Keckley. And it goes 80 yards to clinch a win for Cal. That's a great name, Jackie Jensen. He was a two-sport star at Cal, common with both schools. He ended up playing 12 years of Major League Baseball. He was the MVP of the American League in 1958. Jackie Jensen, name that doesn't get mentioned enough. He's from another era and a great part of this big game. How about a little colorization on that film, huh?
Yeah.
It was nice.
I love the throw. I mean, I don't know how many guys can make that throw now.
And I keep saying that field you just saw, that's the same exact field. That's same field, hasn't been touched a bit. Well, they changed the grass, obviously, but the field was the same field they played on in 1947. They built this new, smaller stadium in 2006 around the same field. They've insisted on keeping natural grass here. Whoops, and a slip and a go down. Wow. He says, he talks about the turf. And of course, we're at that time of year where, as nightfall descends here, and a little bit of that slickness due on the grass may well have been what happened there to Pete.
All right, so now for Stanford. Here we go. Get the ball. You're coming out of the half. You've made your adjustments. I think if they do start to throw it a little bit, they got to protect. Tanner McKee, he's been hit a few times in this first half, and it wasn't deep drops by him. Curious to see how they deal with it. And then for Cal, Mo Iosefa is no longer playing. So you'll see a variety of different linebackers. Right now, 54, Evan Tattersall is on the field.
They're going to try to run a little bit, but not much there. Marquez Bimage on the tackle. E.J. Smith the carry.
Bimage is a great story, and he's shown up tonight. He's such a consistent player. Transferred from Texas. Was going to go to grad school and said, you know what, I want to play ball as well. Talked to the football office. Said, yeah, we got a spot for you, and he's made his presence felt.
And McKee, nice throw there to Silas Starr, and that'll be a Stanford first down.
Another big-bodied receiver, and I think when you're running those in-breaking routes and you're a big-bodied receiver, Silas Starr is all at 6'3", Ted. That's where you can truly use your body to separate from the defensive back.
I'll tell you, when you talk about physical models for positions, David Shaw and Stanford clearly have one for the wide receiver, don't they?
Oh, yeah. They all kind of look like him from playing back
there.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, 6'3" is kind of a modest-sized wide receiver here. McKee comes into Michael Wilson. He's going to be to the 37-yard line. That's 9 more for the Cardinal. Tattersall on the tackle.
Mike Wilson is so precise as a route runner. A little delayed start. He threatens the DB. Backs up is Josh Drayton, and he just knows how to sit in zones and in holes. And this is a guy coming off of just a long time of recovery. Had a foot injury, Ted. He talked to us yesterday about just the patience he's had to have recovering as a wide receiver to your foot, which you use so much as a route runner.
All right, McKee coming deep for Wilson, just beyond, but there's the flag. So we may get our first PI call. Let's see. Josh Drayton pointing at Wilson. Nope, it's going to be against Cal.
Pass interference defense number 20. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
They run a double move. You'll see it, and then a little contact there. It was the push late is where they called it. You can have contact all the way down the field as a DB, but when the ball's in the air, especially if the receiver's fallen or it's impacting his trajectory, they're going to call it.
So 15 yards, and that gives Stanford now the ball again in Cal territory. Stanford's been in Cal territory a bunch. What they haven't done yet is find the end zone. That ball batted down at the line.
They brought the same pressure that Moelo Iosefa was running all first half.
How about that? We haven't had a chance to say his name. Luke Beckett finishing up playing at Cal, his 7th year in college football.
Over 60 games. Can you imagine
exactly.
if you signed up for college football, you're like, you're going to play 60 games. I want that deal.
And McKee misfires to Humphreys. That'll leave 3rd down.
There's a hold on
holding, yeah. See what Cal chooses to do here. 3rd and 10
holding,
or 2nd and 20.
Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
So Justin Wilcox wants to push them back. 2nd and 20. Hey, by the way, we have a very special shout out tonight. A great event going on. Ernie Sparger, who worked with us for years, is just a great professional. Daughter Gabby is getting married tonight. Gabby worked with us as a camera operator on our early years of our Pac-12 network. And McKee throws that. As Daniel Scott is claiming there's nobody anywhere near it. The ball does go past the line of scrimmage. Is the flag going to come? Yes, it is. McKee, was he still in the pocket?
Yeah.
Intentional grounding, offense number 18. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Loss of down, third down.
You'll see McKee. He's going to end up throwing it to here. Nobody around.
Yeah. Still in the pocket.
Yeah, and that's on Tanner McKee.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, in this offense, you know, I get it. You got pushed back on the hole, but man, you're just putting yourself in a hole here on this drive in the third.
Wow, and now Tanner McKee looking. You see he's trying to get a play call. The play clock's down to 15. Not much on 3rd and 27 anyway. So run it with Austin Jones. Flag comes in. And it's against Stanford.
Holding offense number 60. That penalty's declined. The result of the play's fourth down.
So that was a rough series for Stanford, and especially David Shaw. We've talked about this in the past, and I've had conversations with him. The play calling system, David's involved in the play calling, and it's complex. And you can see the frustration from McKee in the 3rd and 27, which you don't expect. Now I need to get a play, and it's a hard way to play in any circumstance. But it looks like in that Stanford system, maybe really tough to play.
Yeah. No rhythm offensively on that drive. 3 straight penalties.
So Sanborn. So we're going to get a return from inside the 5 by Remigio. Well, we got a first down back to the 16. That's where Cal will start. That axe is here, and there are Cal fans thinking it's going to be theirs in a little while. And Andrew Luck had a really rough first big game on this field the year before. Through a late interception, Cal won the game. That was the revenge the next year with that run. Stanford ends up winning. And a little postscript on Andrew Luck in just a second. Is a little play action here for Garbers. And he'll run it out. Andrew Luck's going to be here. Whoa. All right, Garbers okay there. Sorry, Andrew Luck will be here next week. He's going to be the honorary captain for Stanford when they play Notre Dame. Dad Oliver Luck's here tonight. A big game.
You know, he's obviously one of the greatest players to play in this league at that position. But you know what I love almost above his play is that he redshirted. That he sat for a year, right? Yeah. Remember that word, by the way? Have you remember redshirt? Yeah. We haven't used that in a long time. It's great.
Oh, yeah, I've heard some of the stories about the coach meetings when that conversation. It is amazing that happened. Brooks with a big hole. Are they going to catch him? Here comes a defender with an angle. Brooks to the 20, and he's run down from behind. The angle didn't get him, but it was the catch-up speed of Kendall Williamson that drags down Christopher Brooks.
Watch the right foot of Christopher Brooks. He's getting a little help. Sindrich on the pull. Right foot. Boom! See you later. That is clinic worthy in terms of you are pressing the hole, and you cut the last possible moment. Can you light a match off the backside of your offensive lineman? He does exactly that behind Matthew Sindrich, his center.
Well, an 84-yard pass play for Cal tonight. That is a 75-yard run. First down at the Stanford 17. And Garbers hits Remigio. Now there is a flag down behind the play. Another missed tackle. Remigio goes in the end zone, but there's a flag back in the middle of the offensive line.
Personal foul and necessary roughness, number 63 of the offense. Diving on a player who was on the ground. 15-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. First down.
Wow. Braden Rome, who's taken over at left tackle for Cal, is called for this foul.
Or he's the left tackle. You'll see him there. And there it is.
Well,
that's the right call.
That's absolutely. completely unnecessary. And when you watch something like that happen, you have to assume there was build-up to that.
Yeah. Well, and it's an incredible block, right? Gabe Reed jumps. You bench press him. He goes to the ground. Let him go, man. Let him go. Go get somebody else.
Yeah, I'm saying that's why you have to believe there was other things that taken place to lead up to that.
That's been going on throughout the game.
So it is now first down and from the 31 of Stanford. Marcel Dancy gets outside. There's Demooney, the linebacker, and Thomas Booker off the D line, combining on the tackle. Well, when you are midway through the third quarter and you see your opponent has only 3 points, you figure if I get to the end zone one more time, that could be
it's a critical drive.
Yeah,
that's right.
And Stanford knows that.
When you think about the last 2 drives for Cal, they have the trick play for an explosive gain, but only come away with 3. You see how this drive shakes out, but could be a lot of points that they've left on the field.
Well, the flags come down. I'm looking down at Thomas Booker.
False start offense number 62. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
You're thinking, these players like Thomas Booker down there thinking this is the last big game. You asked him yesterday, he's not likely going to come back. Thomas Booker's had a marvelous career here. He is a finalist for the Campbell Trophy. His family's going to go to, they get to go to Las Vegas together as a finalist for the award that measures football play, academic success, and community contribution, service. It's an extremely honored award. Justin Herbert won it 2 years ago out of this conference. Marcel Dancy was out of bounds, and having been around this game a lot, and I've heard this story from a lot of players after the fact, the last one they remember. Yeah. And that's when you look down at the Stanford side now, because Cal's pretty much controlled this game.
Just a footnote for Thomas Booker. He was a guy who came here in high school to a summer education program. Wasn't even getting recruited yet. Think about his journey, what he's done at Stanford to be up for the award you referenced.
Yeah, Cal's at 447 yards of offense now. I mean, 2 massively explosive plays. Garbers comes underneath on third down, so this will get them closer for a field goal try.
But you're right. Cal has controlled the majority of this game.
Since the 4th down stops, right?
Since those 4th down stops, exactly. But again, we've been around this long enough, and Cal's seen this. They've had some tough losses this year that are tight, right? It's been a while since they've won a tight game. You got to score touchdowns out here in the red zone. This is going to be the second opportunity they come away.
And the penalty on the offensive lineman winds up being a huge saving grace for Stanford. So now again, it's 3 points potential instead of 7. And Longhetto will put it through. So Cal now has a lead of 20-3 in the third quarter of the big game.
Has owned the line of scrimmage tonight.
All right, Tanner McKee back to work underneath here to Jurasek, and he has a first down gain. But I think that sequence of plays shows, yes, Cal is on the line of scrimmage, and they've had 4 really big plays. Yeah. Those soul-crushing plays when they go against you. Cal's had 4 of them tonight on offense.
Yeah, and as the last couple games have gone, they've gained some explosive ability. They started off the season well. Remember that TCU game, moving the ball up and down the field. But I look at Oregon State game, and tonight, this offense is playing its best ball.
McKee with a head and shoulder, and then he tried to come down underneath, but now he's going to get a flag. That was a low hit. I believe that's what the flag here is going to...
the passer, defense number 46. Throwing the passer to the ground. 15-yard penalty. First down.
All right, throwing the passer to the ground is the call against Bimage.
Check this out. This is Bryce Farrell. They got a chance for a touchdown, Ted. You see Tanner McKee is going to pump it once, and then this is the area. There's nobody there. Nobody there. Doesn't throw. Obviously checks it down and gets hit. But again, you look at the protection. Got to give him an opportunity to feel confident back there to step into that throw.
So gift 15, and Stanford's now at the Cal 42. Wow, that's a lateral throw. Good job by Pete to pick up. I believe that was lateral, and there was no whistle on the field, so that was clearly a live ball. And Nathaniel Pete did well to pick that up and actually got back. Looks like he gained a yard.
Look, there's still a lot of time in this game, right? So I think for the Cardinal, what they need on this drive is some momentum, some confidence here. Can you punch it in, make it a 10-point game?
Yeah, I was going to say the other reality, they just need points on this drive. Right now, they're minimum of 3 possessions they need. But this is something again, clearly Cal is ready for this, and they have not let Stanford run the ball.
No, they've been so sound. I mean, look what they did to Oregon State a couple weeks ago in terms of eliminating the run game. And they don't miss tackles. And even without in this half, Iosefa, Peter Sermon's group, who also coaches the linebackers, rotating guys in opposite Nate Regina. They've all fit their gaps extremely well.
So a long third for Stanford. And McKee throws it up there, and Humphreys, who we had it and could not hang on, and who's there again? Ramaja Hearns is having some first big game.
Man, I'm telling you, coming in tonight, you're thinking, all right, Tanner McKee's going to deal a little bit. He's got these big wideouts. They're all healthy. Perfect location in terms of ball placement. And Hearns just fights. See that right hand? That left hand just keeps fighting through the hands of the receiver, and McKee thinks he has it. And how is this 5'10" DB slowing down my passing game?
And that on 4th down brings the punt team out for Stanford. Sanborn punts it away, and that reaches the end zone, so it'll be a Cal touchback. And that is a very big stop for the Cal defense to hold this lead at 20-3 for Pop. The author of the great line, "The Bear will not quit, the Bear will not die." Joe Kapp was a fabulous quarterback at Cal. His last game as the Cal head coach was the big game in 1986. Cal had only won 1 game all year. Stanford was going to the Gator Bowl. Joe Kapp knew it was his final game, and he literally motivated his team to a stunning upset in Berkeley. And that was the scene, being carried up the field as a fired coach. But that's Joe Kapp. And I want to send along our best to Joe. We know that he's watching here at home in the Bay Area. There's a nice little mix-up play, and Marcel Dancy ends up with the ball.
You know, Chris Peterson, he enjoyed that one. I'm sure he'll look and laugh.
Man, my God, what was it? Ian Johnson, right? Ian Johnson at Boise. Coach Pete.
You know, when you call plays like that, your guys are feeling confident. You're having fun. And this is a team that's gone through a lot over the last month of this season, but still a lot of football left. But they're calling everything they want to call on the call sheet here.
And there goes Marcel Dancy. Another foot race. McGill won't get him. And Marcel Dancy, 76 yards. A big game of explosion for Cal.
How about Mathieu exploding right there, and then Dancy does the rest with his wheels. Whew. Out the gate, making a statement, and I bet Joe Kapp is standing up wherever he's watching this one, putting his hands together for the Cal Bears.
What an absolute night of just utter offensive explosion for Cal. 537 yards, and we're in the third quarter. But the number of huge plays have just broken the back for Stanford so far. 27-3, big game mania.
America! After the past year-ish, everyone deserves something new. So, AT&T is giving everyone our best deals on every iPhone, including the iPhone 13 Pro with its amazing camera, like everyone that worked from home or welcomed a new family member.
They were all out of dogs.
Our deals are for everyone.
It's not complicated. AT&T is giving new and existing customers our best deals on every iPhone, including up to $1,000 off the Epic iPhone 13 Pro.
Marcel Dancy, another Bay Area native from Oakland. His longest previous run at Cal had been his number, 23 yards.
But you couldn't have scripted a better place for this one. And the line of scrimmage and the movement, and you go back to 3 offensive linemen coming back, including McCade, Matayer on that block there. Look, everybody's getting some in the backfield right now, and this Cal offense, they picked the right game to have their best game of the season.
Now, the big game tradition is that the stadiums, both stadiums, are generally split. It's part of the deal between the teams. So the Cal side at Stanford Stadium, pretty full, and right now they are loud. And there's Nathaniel Pete on the run back. This is of course, this is Cal that won on this field in 2019, 2 years ago. And as we've relived the moment a bunch with both Justin Wilcox and Chase Garbers, they both said it took anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes for them to leave the field after the game because Cal fans didn't storm the field. They just went down on the field with sheer joy. Justin has talked about seeing middle-aged Blues with tears in their eyes coming up and thanking him because they hadn't won in 9 years.
Yeah,
to do it on the other team's field.
Such a big deal.
Yeah.
It had been a long time since the Axe was in Berkeley. And I don't think any of those fans are in a rush to get on the freeway and head back to Berkeley. They plan on celebrating here.
Just a quick pass out to get Austin Jones some running room. Well, Stanford has 3 points and just over 200 yards of offense. But again, remember, they had 2 goal-to-goes in the first quarter. 2 separate possessions with goal to go. And Cal had 4th down stops on both.
And I back that call completely.
The chains
from
are
David
broken.
Shaw
We're
to
getting
go for it.
backups.
All right. First down, chains are broken.
How about that? How good are those outfits? Can we get like Ashley and Aliotti and company to dress up?
Well, wait a minute. I've seen Aliotti in that, the second dude in. I've seen Aliotti wear that.
I believe it.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Aliotti goes down to the Jackalope in Eugene. He's rocking that thing. You know that.
I hope they're at the Old Pro having a good time after this one. That's amazing. How about the stash?
Well,
some detail.
All right, new chains here. Cal fans, I was walking over here today and walking through all the parking lots on the campus. And Cal fans came. The season has not discouraged them, and that's much to their credit. They came and they were tailgating, and you could tell they were going to be a good Cal turnout. Hearns again on the defense.
Well, there's a lot at stake, right?
Somebody called Thornby and tell him he doesn't have to have a vote for the defensive player of the week. Well, and I haven't seen the other game, so I shouldn't say that.
He's up for it. He's an easy nominee.
Yeah. 4 pass breakups tonight. There's a good maneuver by McKee to get out there and find an open man, Wilson. That'll be a Stanford first.
And I'll tell you, Cal fans can, because there's still a lot at stake for the Cal Bears. And they got to win out, or they can go bowling. But to do it, they got to sweep the California schools, and it's been a while. 1958.
That's amazing.
Incredible stat there.
That's a pass. It's going to be short of a first down, and likely, we'll see if Stanford hurries up to run another play in the quarter. They really can't afford to take too much time. And Austin Jones will get a first down. That'll be a temporary stop here to get chains reset. All right, that ends the third quarter. It's a hurt Stanford team. It is giddy on the Cal side. The Gatsby crowd is here. It's been a long time. Doesn't matter tonight the way Cal's played.
No. Look, both of these teams knew what was at stake here in terms of finishing and making a statement in this rivalry game. And I don't anticipate Stanford, after the completion of Michael Wilson, they're not going to lay down here in the fourth quarter. You're going to see a lot of
receiver
fight.
downfield offense, number 78.
Wow.
5-yard penalty, first down.
Tough break for Stanford. First play of the quarter. Nice quick hit to Wilson, but right tackle Miles Hinton is ruled downfield.
It's a 3-yard rule. You'll see him at the right tackle. 1, 2. Yeah, that's easy.
Easy.
6.5 yards downfield.
That's the RPO penalty, right? Right, the quick slant on the other side to John Humphreys. So many, and so much a part of big game is family, and you see it on both sides. But boy, there are a bunch of players who are sons of people who played big game. John Humphreys' dad, Brad, when I first was around here, he was strong safety. John, a little bit bigger, comes a receiver. Yeah, big time pop, boy. Evan Tattersall puts a stick on Elijah Higgins.
How about Evan Tattersall talk about families? Nick Aliotti coaches that. So there's a bunch of ties here in this stadium, father-sons. But, you know, you think about that, of the fathers and the sons.
Here, Willie was an assistant coach, 2 different stints. The first stint, David was a baby, 2 years old. He said that was when David came to his first big game. Willie was on the staff of Coach Jack Christensen then. Just out of the hands of Higgins, and another flag, and Josh Drayton is not happy. It's the
pass interference, defense number 20, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
From my first sight, this is a tough call. I understand the frustration from Drayton. He's running with them. They're both tangled up, and he just goes up. You can't play it any better.
I don't see anything. I don't see anything there, do you?
No.
And you're a receiver in doing it.
And I very rarely come to the defense.
No, I know.
But no, I'm with you, man. And the Cal DBs.
Wow, that ball tipped and dropped. So the perfect interception moment. Cameron Good tipped it. Tattersall could not hang on. Cameron
Good has had an impact in this game all night. How about that? The spin move to get away from Hinton. Left hand hits the ball. Got to make this one. Got to make that one. Cam Good, to me, for this defense, when they lost, remember what they've lost, right? They lost Brett Johnson. They've lost Coin Dang. He's the leader of this side of the ball.
Well, reprieve here for Stanford. Can they take advantage? There's Wilson. Now, this play has blockers, and Wilson gets it down to the 5-yard line, and Stanford has first and goal.
I like the tempo. And they're going to bring in their extra offensive lineman package here from the 5.
So Stanford hoping to finish the drives. They have not done that yet, and of course they already, I'm sure, have a 2-point play ready if they do score. Newly in the lead block for Jones. And now the rugby push. Is he going to get in? Apparently not. Cal stood up right at the goal line.
And then at everybody, that 11 guys pushing. And watch at the end, Tanner McKee's going to come in and try to get some.
All right, just shy of the goal line. Jones, and he is in for the first Stanford touchdown of big game. So Stanford has to go for 2 here, and you see McKee holding up the fingers given the score. 24-point difference. Trying to get it down to 16. This gets back to something we talked with Jonathan Smith about earlier this year. How many 2-point plays do you have after that 9 overtime game we saw in the Big Ten this year, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder how many real 2-point plays do you have? Stanford hopes to have at least 3 in this 4th quarter.
I'll be curious if they go back to one of the jump balls, one of their bigger receivers, and try a quick hitter.
Humphreys and Pete up top. Now it's just Humphreys. Rasek is tight to the line on the right. He's looking to the back for Humphreys, who makes the catch. Well, they just let Humphreys work that back line against Hearns. And McKee threw it up there where Humphreys was the only guy who was going to get it.
How about the patience of Tanner McKee? Get the ball up and down, firm with an arc. Conversion, that's perfect. Catch, tuck.
Pac-12 football is presented by Vanguard. That's the value of ownership. And brought to you by Ice Cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. And by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. What's your beef? That is Christopher Brooks. 75-yard run. 4 huge plays tonight by Cal. Oddly, we've had a 75 and a 76-yard run. And they're not the longest in big game history. We do have that one we may show you. That was a significant run in the history of this rivalry. So now we have Stanford to onside and out of bounds. So trying to get a Caillou Blue Kelly on the near sideline.
Free kick out of bounds. 5-yard penalty from where the kick went out of bounds. First down, Cal.
I liked it. I mean, Cal was not necessarily set up for the onside kick, Ted. So it's surprise onside to a degree.
I think fairness compels to suggest that if you've allowed 537 yards in 3 quarters, you're not supremely confident in your defense tonight.
Big drive. Huge drive right now. Stanford wants to get back in this thing.
So Brooks trying to knife his way through the right side. Stanford plugs that for a short gain. And we have a family interests in these big games. This is the rarity when they represent both sides. J.H. Tevis, starting defensive end for Cal, had 2 sacks in last year's big game. His dad, Mike, before Mike's changed the spelling of the family name, Mike was a center here, and if you get the years, you'd understand who he snapped the ball to. He snapped the ball to John Elway. John Elway, center. Here's J.H. Tevis. And that's the hard part when the families get split.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the Musgraves have that next week when the Ducks and Beavers play. All right, reverse to Remigio. Untouched. Unbelievable. I mean, there wasn't a defender near him until he got down to the 10-yard line.
And who was his leading blocker? Number 7. Love the creativity. Cal gets Stanford's defense completely running to their sideline. Remigio with a big play. Garber's lead blocker.
I mean, what a play. On that replay, you didn't see a defensive jersey
until he got tackled.
I mean, that's something. And well, Bill Musgrave might want to take a record. And on the option pitch. Dancy is going to get there. Touchdown, Cal. Second of the night for Marcel Dancy.
They've done everything tonight, including now the option off of Gabe Reed. And Dancy just races in the end zone, gets a little collision with Caillou Blue Kelly. But man, you're right. You think about it in the offensive playbook, what do you want? You got end around, you got hook and ladder, you got option, you got deep ball, you got double pass. I mean, it's been a clinic for Cal offensively.
Extra point by Longetto. So Stanford tried the onside kick, and Cal made them pay the ultimate price, a quick 7. A view from the Cal band section. All right, we have one more football game for you this year on Pac-12 Network. It'll be the Territorial Cup next Saturday from Tempe. U of A, ASU, 1 o'clock Mountain will be when we start. The game will kick off just after 2 p.m. Mountain time. And we'll be there. As will Ashley and company will also be there. That'll start things at noon Pacific. Again, the game will be just after 1 o'clock Pacific time. Into the field to play again with the kickoff. Nathaniel Pete on the run back. And he'll be the 25-yard line. Big game moment, 2005. Just days before big game, Jeff Tedford told a quarterback backup named Steve Levy, you're going to make your first college start in big game. He throws this touchdown pass to a young receiver named Deshaun Jackson. And Cal goes on to stun Stanford. Why is that significant? That's the last time Cal has won back-to-back big games at Stanford, 2003 and 2005. They're 10 minutes from doing it now.
I know Steve Levy well, and I know him and his crew. They're watching this on the East Coast. Yeah, I'm sure you love that clip.
Well, of course, the other part of that story that I have to, was the Stanford coach that day in his first year was a guy named Walt Harris, who clearly could not handle life without Yogi Roth anymore at Pitt. So took the job here at Stanford, and that cost Stanford a bowl game. Cal winning that big game denied Stanford a bowl game.
What a moment, and that's a good lesson, Ted. You can't get rid of me, man, okay? No matter what.
Oh, and McKee trips. And that's J.H. Tevis celebrating. He's close enough, he'll get credit for it. I'm not sure whose legs, looks like McKee goes down, but.
He's trying to climb the pocket, and how about the push?
Yep.
And he just trips over his own lineman.
Pushing Barrett Miller back into the quarterback, so a little moment there for Tevis to celebrate. Oh, McKee had Jurasek open, and it ended up being a leaping try by Hicks.
This defensive front of Cal, they're getting after it. I mean, they are relentless in their movement. And Elijah Hicks almost had another pick. It's what he's just been doing in the last month of the season. I'm glad he came back to Elijah Hicks. Think about when he came to Cal, right? Jeff Tedford had left. Sonny Dykes had left. Didn't even know necessarily Justin Wilcox, but decided to come in anyway. What a career he's had.
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
See the look, Dwayne Akina, the highly respected DB coach there, was in front of David Shaw. None of the Stanford folks are used to this. It hasn't happened in the decade that David Shaw has been running this program. They're going to have a chance here. Notre Dame will be here next Saturday to finish the Stanford season. Sanborn's kick gets away. Nico Remigio. So it'll be at the Cal 40 as we revisit one of the big plays tonight, our Old Trapper Majestic moment.
And how do you not love this run? Offensive lineman, Mathieu with the block. And how about the cut? Right off the backside of his O-line. Christopher Brooks, when healthy, he's one of the better big backs in this league. And I'll tell you, man, tonight, this entire running back room has made their presence dramatically felt. He's leading the way.
75-yard run by Brooks, a 76-yard run by Dancy.
Ted, they've had 7 runs of 10 yards or more. 7 runs. And Stanford struggled there all season. Let up 68 coming into this ball game.
Even more explosive. 5 plays, 5 different plays of 30 or more yards for Cal tonight, as they roll towards 600 yards of offense, a big game record.
You know, coming into tonight, I thought it was going to be the Stanford offense, because they had so many pieces coming back. Elijah Higgins was coming back. John Humphreys was healthier. E.J. Smith is coming back.
Well, it's been a story for Stanford that continued tonight. It really continued in that first quarter. They have been a one-dimensional team in offense this year. Just pass, and they could not run it in the deep red zone. Those 2 first quarter sequences were also different. As Cal is starting to mix in some new bodies. That's Chris Street. We saw him run a little bit a couple weeks ago against Oregon State. But in those 2 sequences in the first quarter, those goal-to-goes, Stanford did not try a single jump ball. It's interesting. They finally threw one to Jurasik.
Yeah, it's been an interesting season for Stanford. You know, we were here for the UCLA game, just back and forth. Of course, they upset Oregon on this field. Haven't been able to find a win since that day. It's been a physical game, I'll say that. Neither team has laid down. I haven't seen a loaf. I mean, these guys know what's at stake. And every player we've talked to on both sides of the ball all week long referenced those that played in this game before them. The very clear understanding of what the axe means in this game.
Well, there's no secret what's going to happen here again. It's turn and hand it off as Cal is in a secure place, and that's going to be a first down run to Carlos Brooks on that carry.
All right, so we're talking about awards. This is the graduate level wall of honor. Every week we go back and watch the film. We say who really showed up. It was Rachaad White last week. Back-to-back games, over 200 yards. Big opportunity for him again tonight. Just accepted an invitation to the Senior Bowl, and he's got to go up against an Oregon State team. If Utah can hold on, they're up 35-7 now towards the end of the third.
How about that, huh?
How about them Beavs, right? So now can ASU play spoiler?
I mean, the Beavs have a chance to make next week's game for the Pac-12 championship spot.
Every week, it seems. Oh, boy.
Oh, look at this. Dancy throwing one out the back of the end zone. Man, is there any play left that Cal hasn't dialed up?
Well, under the trick play section, I can't imagine what left.
I'm asking how many 2-point conversion plays do you have? How many gadget plays do you have on a play card?
Man, in this rivalry game, Dancy, you're thinking he's coming downhill again. Nice job, Caillou Blue Kelly. He's one of the bright spots of this season for this team. Caillou Blue Kelly, he's got all the talent in the world.
All right, 4th down. Cal going to go for it here. And a little play action throw that will get the first down to the 5. That is Kaleki Latu, freshman from Sacramento.
He made a nice play in the Colorado game. Haven't really called his name since. This guy's got all the tools, Ted. 6'6", 215, true freshman from Sacramento. Played hoops, played defense in high school. They found him, and look, the tight end in this offense clearly will have a role, and he will moving forward.
Well, Cal just grinding away and burning out much of what's remaining in this 4th quarter. The kind of big game you dream about when you're on their side. And this is going to be an easy touchdown. Bouncing to the outside goes Chris Street to score for Cal. A Cal player down at the end of the play in the end zone. See Garber's over to take a look. Looks like one of the big boys up front. First career touchdown for Chris Street.
Oh, and it's the guy whose name we've been calling all night, McCade Matawyer. You see just kind of an awkward collision and fall. Grabs that left backside there. Hope he's all right, because they're going to need him.
I was going to say, what a night for the California Golden Bears. What a statement, and what a way for them to go play a team next Saturday that made its own statement today. Yeah. Cal and UCLA at the Rose Bowl. UCLA chance to finish with 8 wins. Cal still heartbeat alive to get to 6 and get to a bowl game.
I love when games have such meaning late in the season, even if you're out of the title race per se. And there's a lot at stake. UCLA, Cal. It's a fun November here, man.
All right, point after added by Longetto. It has just been a big game crush, not Pino, football.
Of the 3rd ranked Ducks. Ted and Yogi back to Stanford.
Well, here at Stanford Stadium, stunning big game. Look at this one record after another by Cal tonight. 636 yards. It is the most ever by a team in big game. 41 points. We told you Cal's going to win back-to-back big games at Stanford for the first time since 2005. 03 and 05 they did it. They're going to win 19 and 21. Short kick here, going to be run back by Stanford. The one record that, oh, we have a flag down at the end of the return.
During the return, holding return team number 4, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
The one record Cal did set tonight, longest big game run. 1999, Todd Husak, the quarterback, changes the play at the line of scrimmage. The result is a 94-yard run by Casey Moore. It's the 4th quarter. It clinches a win. It wasn't just a win. It clinched the conference championship and the Rose Bowl for Stanford. It's the last time the big game had the Rose Bowl riding on it. And every Cal fan watching, every Cal fan you talk to dreams. Their ultimate is that Cal would someday win the big game, just like that, to win the big game to clinch the Rose Bowl. It can't happen under the current structure, this 2-division stuff, but if we get rid of that, it could happen again. And last year I talked to a bunch of Cal people, including Lee Steinberg, the legendary agent Jerry Maguire, Cal grad. That's the only full section left in Stanford Stadium, is that end where the Cal fans, the students, and the band are.
Cal was just going to drive on this in-breaking route. He runs the route for Michael Wilson. Throws a little too far in front of Wilson, and another pick for this back end. They've had an incredible performance. And what I love about this team, too, in this game, where do they all go to celebrate? They went to their section, but they went off the field, right? It wasn't like it erupted on the field and you saw a penalty. And I say that because, well, there's the axe, of course, as we gear up for it. But for Justin Wilcox, you referenced the testing and everything they've gone through. This team could have fractured. It could have been dramatically frustrated. They did not. And I thought the way that he handled it internally, externally, as the face of a university, was a blueprint for how you have to deal with something that clearly they hadn't anticipated coming into this season.
Scarber's Goes down himself. And Yogi, that's so well said. And again, given where this program was 2 weeks ago, couldn't play last week. Finally, early part of this week, I mean, Stanford admitted they were calling over to Cal the early part of this week. Hey, you guys going to be good to go. You're going to have enough players to play the game legitimately. You kind of have two stories like that in our conference this year. I think Washington State being the other story, where they're going to go to a bowl game, given what those players had nothing to do with, but the turmoil they had to endure. They're two fabulous stories, they really are. And I mean, Utah is also exceptional in a different way. But I guess those of us that, we always gravitate to the underdog stories, and we see what Cal and Washington State have done this year. Huge props to both.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about all those scenarios is that regardless of leader or leadership position, the players at Washington State, the players at Cal, to your point, they've stuck together. Like, they've gotten even stronger. The players at Utah, in their tragic circumstances, 2 teammates lost in a span of 9 months. They stuck together. They got stronger and made that choice. And that's when you're saying, hey, the culture, the locker room, the program is in a really healthy place.
Last carry for Cal was by Ashton Stredick. He's going to get another one here. From Texas, a sophomore, Stredick. And he'll get wrapped up and thrown down by Levani Damouni. And that'll bring up 4th down, but the clock will continue to run, and there's no effort by either side to stop it. And the stare down underway. And the Axe is about to go back to Berkeley. 3 straight big games it'll be now for the visitors to win.
Yeah, how about that? This is so fun. Like the preparation, the staring contest.
Last year there was an empty stadium in Berkeley. There were 50 people on Tightwad Hill above the stadium that watched last year's big game. That's it. And that's just an empty feeling for everybody involved. Just as they did 2 years ago, the Cal fans, the Cal students, the Cal band have all made the trek to Palo Alto. This has been a rivalry of streaks. Tyrone Willingham, when he was the head coach at Stanford, he never lost a big game, 7-0. Jeff Tedford came in and started his own remarkable run. In the first year that Cal won the big game to end that Stanford streak, the kids took the goalpost down, carried it out the tunnel at Memorial Stadium on down Telegraph Avenue. So the next year, the new goalposts were put in that existed. You can't take them down. They collapse.
Quickly.
Yes. Yeah. And but I mean, that's the emotions, and even if it's slightly misguided, as that might have been, it's the emotions that this engenders, and there they are. Stanford are clutching it for these precious final moments.
That's it. You know what I love, though? Okay, it's such a focused stare down, and then when the transition of power occurs, the emotions dramatically change as well.
So now Robbie Rowell comes in to take this 4th down snap for Cal. And he gets a chance to participate in a big game. And he gets a chance to get tackled by 3 Stanford defenders.
Yeah. It was interesting, we talked to Chase Garbers this week. We said, hey, have you ever seen the stare down? And he's like, no, I've never have, because they've been tight games. This is the first one that I hope he gets to.
Oh, I saw it blink.
Yeah.
I saw one dude on the right side there did blink.
Penalty.
Yeah.
But for Cal, like, you look at this season, last season, they've gone through a ton, and everybody has in their own right in college football, but tight losses. There's Chase Garbers. He's going down with a smile on his face.
Oh boy, what big games he's had. Another 246 passing and 2 touchdowns, and another 59 on the ground. A 1,000-yard runner in his career. It's not necessarily what a quarterback says he wants to do when he goes to college, but he did pass the great Joe Capps' career rushing record for a quarterback at Cal.
And I'll tell you, end of this season, you look at his last now 8 quarters in the Pac-12 North. He's playing really impressive football, man.
What does Chase Garbers do?
Yes,
he has another year.
He does. And I think these are the moments, you know, I'm curious who they get to come on set with them in the post-game show, but these are the moments where you feel all that emotion of, man, I love being a part of this thing. Can I be a part of it as long as Luke Beckett's been a part of it?
It's also part of this when the visiting team wins. The home crowd's pretty much gone. They have no interest in seeing the visiting team and the visiting fans celebrating on their field.
Yeah, Thomas Booker talked about that. All the cameras around it.
Stanford had thousands of students, a great Stanford student turnout tonight. They're all gone. And for California, what a big game. Chase Garbers say one thing, he's undefeated on this field. And here come the Cal fans again. And it's as it was 2 years ago. It is not, and there goes. And look who's there, Remigio, first guy there. He wants a piece of that.
The transition of power comes through the tunnel that Stanford's got to walk back through. And how about that scene? For everything this program's been through over the last 3 weeks, it's going to be a party.
And that's why I think it's very, very important to make sure we emphasize this is not people storming the field. This is people coming down with nothing but joy. They're going to celebrate, and they're going to do it as they did 2 years ago. Cal has won big game at Stanford. 2009, or 19, and 2021. Neither team's season is over, but it's clearly Cal would have a chance to potentially have something more significant happen. But this is going to be a highlight. It's absolutely going to be a highlight, and for Stanford, nothing will mask the pain of this.
Yes, and for the Cal Bears, what a performance on every front. You see Chase Garbers, what a game for him. Complete command, throws for 246 in this one, and the way this offense hit it every which way. The defense, you see Coin Dang there, he hasn't played in a while. Muelo Iosefa left at the end of the first half, and this team hadn't flinched. And for Chase Garbers, if this is your last time in this game, sit on the shoulders, brother. You've earned it.
Well, I have a feeling that for the second time in 3 years, the merchants of downtown Palo Alto are going to be very happy. There'll be some extremely generous Cal alums coming over to have dinner. And they deserve it. What a fabulous big game performance. 636 yards of offense, a big game record. And California keeps their hopes alive. Can they sweep their in-state neighbors?
It's going to be a blast to watch, brother. What a fun day in college football. It is an absolute joy to be here, do another big game with you, man.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, to all of our crew, our fabulous crew led by Michael Molinari, Scott Barkey. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Enjoy it with family and friends and loved ones. We'll see you in Tempe next Saturday for Territorial Cup from Stanford Stadium down to the field.